Enneacraft, Cool Tune, and even Medius the Pure. Make sure you guys smash the link, crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more Oz content. So I've been watching Enneacraft and just seeing like how much success that this deck has been able to come up with. And it appears that Zabborg the Mega Monarch has been turning into one of those very, very hilarious cards, actually. The fact that Zabborg lets you just deploy 2 monsters from your hand to attribute summon for himself and then rip away so many different cards away from your opponent's extra deck. Yes, this card has become one of the deadliest modern era monsters that we can actually play around with, all because like you can't really do anything about this. I think that's become the issue, is like extra deck ripping on such a large number. I mean, you're ripping away more than half of your opponent's extra deck with this effect, which is crazy. Which, by the way, I mean, you got plenty of great cards to throw at your opponent out of your extra deck. So it's going to be no problem here. Also, I mean, flinging down an Albion to get you a Free the Fallen and the Virtuous to even load up an even extra level of disruption is great. You're also playing Vanity's Fiend kind of as like the sub-boss monster. We do know how important it is to have an extra boss monster on the back burner just to kind of ensure that, you know, you've got a little bit of a game plan to do your thing. I mean, you got plenty of ways to kind of get into these cards. It's just your payoff is I see one of these 2 cards, it's game over for you. There are, I think we're up to 2 to 3 regional tops now for Enneacraft. I guess people have finally started to realize, oh crap, you know, there is actually something to this deck. This isn't just like some wild boogeyman fantasy out here or like a bad deck. No, this is a real deck that is coming up with some very interesting tech choices, and it's actually making use of breaking the meta because of those choices. It's pretty interesting. Next up, we have a Genesis Cool Tune list, and what's crazy to me is this is a 98 pointer here, and the fact that, you know, just your engine was pointed. You also do see, wow, we are playing triple delta in the main deck. It's almost like having access to a spell negate is really one of the craziest things you can do. Now, if you want to adapt this into actual format, you drop a delta, you slam in a gamma, and congratulations, you know, you fixed up your ratios. You've accomplished what you needed to do. And honestly, it feels like your extra deck gets to feel a little bit more put together at that point. And I think that's kind of a cool thing to think about here. Yeah, I know. Pun intended there for the cool tunes. The fact that you have all of these little control options within this deck, and that's why I said I think this deck is going to be one of the best decks to touch down in, you know, modern era Genesis format, just because like you can loop your hand traps. You can use any of your hand traps as bridging power points to do your thing. You've also got access to Gravity Collapse, which is even more unfun, that you just get to use and manipulate against your opponent. And it's crazy to think about that Konami has looked at all of these different tools and they said, that's okay, Doc. You know, there's nothing wrong here. There's what you are building within your deck is okay. You're doing nothing wrong. Yeah, just go ahead and pat yourself on the back. Okay. We are totally not breaking the game in any sort of fashion. And also, I mean, once again, this is why you've been seeing Silvera kind of gaining some price recently as well. It's because this deck gets access to making this thing. It's a free Book of Moon. I mean, like, what's your opponent supposed to do to this? The answer is literally nothing. There's not really a lot of recoverability that you are going to be getting out of the, you know, this deck. So it's kind of crazy. Next up, we have good old Medius the Pure. You know, I wish I could say this was a Genesis deck, but it's actually not. So, one of the things that you're doing in this deck is, yes, we are using Deception of the Sinful Spoils in here to get access into the Hallowed Azamina, because, one, having Silvera as this little tool option for you to kind of have the negate is kind of important. We've been kind of seeing a little bit more of the meta kind of gravitating towards little off-of-the-wall tech choices. You know, if your deck can possibly test out the waters with something, you might find success with something that you shouldn't. And I mean, Resolving a deception here just basically means that you're not gonna really lose any advantage, which I don't know, man. Maybe this deception ploy is a little bit better. Now we're also playing fusion deployment here, which just means, you know, we're gonna snap crackle, have immediate access to Medius the Pure, which is once again the heart and soul of this deck. I mean, you could try to make an argument and say, you know, maybe it's not. No, you're playing Artmage in 2025, man. Like, you are kind of forced to make some concession lines here with the bodies and try to figure out, you know, the most optimized play line. You know, you've also got the Blazing Cartesia on the back burner if you really need to access this, which, I mean, you've already got the Grand Guigan already built into the deck, so I mean, that's good. You are just kind of a good fusion pile deck at this point. Like I said, I see the Trozo, we have access to Secretarian Dragon. You know, we've also got, you know, Mysterion. You have all of the key components layered up here to be able to play the game. And I mean, crap, man, you've even got access to Sphere Mode to board break your opponent all day long. So I like this. I like that you are seeing a more precise toolbox deck doing its thing. Next up here, we have some branded takes. Well, first of all, kudos to seeing branded in its pure incarnation not playing Draco Tail cards, because that's been one of the big takeaways with this deck recently is, like, if you're going to play anything branded related, just go play it with Draco Tail cards, because making Albion, triggering Frixel just feels amazing. So to see that, you know, somebody dusted off Ido and friends and decided that we were going to go back to more of the traditional sense of the build here is actually not a bad thing. Now, this build is going to be playing triple the Fallen and the Virtuous, which I do think is fine. We've seen traditionally how good the Fallen and the Virtuous can be for a card set. I mean, crap, man, being able to pop something and then trigger whatever you're sending on the later half of the upcoming turns to get down an extra Rin Broom so that you can revive a Fallen of Albaz, it's pretty good, honestly. Or, you know, dropping down, you'll probably see an Albion mid-combo, so I mean, you're not going to really have to drop that down. You also do see that we've extended out the fusion duplications, because Mr. Branded Fusion does exist as a 2-of. We do get to play some of the little extra dumber cards that you might not necessarily be wanting to see. Also, this build's only playing one Brandon in High Spirits. This feels such like a crazy revelation, because as many times as I have seen this card come up, I swear I have heard people go, no, you have to play Branded in High Spirits as a 3-of. If you choose to step away from anything that is considered like the norm for this card, it feels like the people are just going to tell you you're crazy. So to me, this is a completely different turnabout from where most of the community has been with this. So I do think, for consistency's sake, only choosing to play the one, you're going to feel a lot better. I've seen a lot of hands where people are playing 3 of these and they just open up multiple of them, and it's terrible, because there's not really a lot that you can do with it. So it's actually kind of interesting. Our last list here is, oh boy, DDD. I gotta tell you, DDD has been one of those decks that has still kind of withstood the test of the format. Maybe not in a good way or a bad way, but I mean, like, it's been pretty consistent. Dark Spirit's Mastery definitely giving this deck one of the toolbox searches that it wants. We do get the chance to see, you know, we are side decking all of the traps. First of all, actually having Dark Contract with the Witch in the main deck versus, you know, the Dark Contract with the Eternal is actually pretty good. Most people will make an argument and say, you know, maybe you should play Eternal Darkness in the main deck. It works either way, honestly. I don't really hate the idea that you're going one way or the other with this. It's just sometimes this does feel a little bit better. We're also side decking 2 Thrust along with the Sales Band. If you do need to see the Sales Band to declare a problem card, you've got access to it in the side deck, and that's what it's supposed to be there for. We've also got a Dark Hole and a Raigeki if we do have to go into, I mean, honestly, if you side into a board breaker here and, you know, you see Raigeki, you're probably OTKing your opponent, because usually that's what DDD is very good at. This deck will tear through its extra deck to put 8,000 damage up on the field, and it will win the game right then and there, because that's just what the deck does. Nobody really believes you when you say that DDD is just one of those scary decks that just suddenly has game. Like, it's very, very good at that. So, what do you guys think about these, I would say, interesting piles today? Leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here in the day, guys. patrons. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.